When reading A Midsummer Night's Dream, I noticed a lot of rhymes. Each sentence rhymed with the previous line before it, and I thought this created a nice flow and it made the play easier to read, in my opinion. Then in other sections, there was no rhyme at all, and I think this was a strong dynamic in the play because it kept me interested in wanting to read more the whole time. If it was all the same throughout the play, it would have been a lot harder for me to keep my attention to the story. I really liked this writing style. A couple values I noticed is the play was given from the third-person perspective, and I think having a narrator describe what is happening at all times presented like the big picture versus like little details that were insignificant to the story. I like this because it gave a good overview of the story, of the setting, etc., and helped me visualize the story. If there were like little details in everyone's head, I feel like it would have been a lot harder to picture versus like having everything from the outside described to you, like the setting and the dialogue and stuff like that. Another value I noticed was prioritizing the mood. I think the mood shifted a lot throughout the story, depending on like if it was like Robin talking or Lysander. There was a lot of like love between Lysander and Hermia at the beginning, and that's like slowly turned dramatic in certain parts. And then there was also humor between Robin and Oberon, and a lot of heartbreak with Hermia and Lysander, obviously, because Hermia was confused why Lysander didn't like her anymore, and the moods definitely shifted and kept it interesting throughout the play. Something that I had to look up beforehand is I don't have much experience reading Shakespearean plays, so I kind of had to get used to the language in which he writes in. To help me with this, I looked up the tone beforehand just to figure out the demeanor in which he is talking in the story, and this really helped me understand the overall mood by having like a tone of the story. Like, is it dramatic? Is it like supposed to be lighthearted and mischievous? And the tone I found when I looked it up was humorous and light throughout the mischievous acts of his characters and his clever language. And I think this really helped me dive deeper into the story and take things in like a more of a lighthearted tone and funny, and then also take it seriously when it goes into the dark side of Herminia's life with Lysander and such. Something I found interesting about the dynamic of gender is at this time it was normal, I feel like, for dads to have a whole future lined up for you, so I think it was cool that they kind of defied that gender role, and Hermia kind of like chased after what she wanted versus like just giving up and listening to her dad, and she decided to run away. And this kind of wasn't common at this time because it was a gender rule that people should listen to their dads, and you're kind of like grown up knowing who you're gonna marry. I think during this time period, the structure of the performance of the men playing the female characters must have been quite weird for the audience and possibly eye-opening to be able to see like from a different perspective of a female telling a man like who you're gonna marry and stuff like that. I think that could have been eye-opening during this time. Two questions I want to leave off with is, why do you think Helena thought that all three of them, meaning Lysander, Demetrius, and Hermia, teamed up together to mock her? My second question is, do you think Shakespeare's strategy of having men play female characters was effective during this time period, and do you think it would have changed anyone's mind on gender roles? Thank you.